Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that happiness isn't something you need to chase. What if it's something you could create right now, not through big achievements or dramatic life changes, but through something as simple as making someone else smile? Most people spend their entire lives searching for happiness in the future. The next promotion, the next vacation, the next relationship. But what if the key has been right in front of you this whole time? What if joy isn't found in what you achieve but in what you give? The truth is, joy grows when shared. It doesn't diminish the more you give it away, it multiplies. Think of happiness like a flame. If you light someone else's candle with your own, your flame doesn't get smaller. In fact, the room just becomes brighter. That's how joy works. It expands through acts of kindness, through moments of compassion, through the intention to lift others up. The problem is, society often teaches us to focus on ourselves first. We hear it all the time, you can't pour from an empty cup. But what if the very act of pouring into others is how we keep our own cup full? Have you ever surprised someone with a thoughtful compliment? Watch their entire body language shift, their shoulders straighten, their eyes light up, their smile widen. That reaction isn't just about them. It affects you too. Your brain releases dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin in the happiness chemicals. Science shows that helping others triggers the same neurological responses as receiving help. It's wired into us. We're biologically designed to feel better when we contribute to someone else's happiness. Yet most people underestimate the power of small actions. They think impact has to come in the form of grand gestures or massive charity donations. The reality, sometimes the most meaningful impact happens in the smallest, quietest moments. A kind word to a stranger, a listening ear to a friend, a small act of service with no expectation of return. These moments stack up. They build a foundation of inner fulfillment brick by brick, day by day. One of the reasons this works so powerfully is because it shifts your focus outward. When you're wrapped up in your own problems, your own stresses, your own insecurities, your world becomes very small. But when you step outside yourself to brighten someone else's world, suddenly your own problems shrink in comparison. Perspective changes everything. By making others happy, you remind yourself that you have value, not because of what you own or how you look, but because of the light you're capable of giving. So ask yourself, who could I lift today? Who could I encourage, support, surprise, or simply smile at? The more you make others feel seen, the more you recognize your own strength. You don't need to wait for a perfect day or a perfect situation. You don't need permission. You have the power right now to make someone's life better, and in doing so, you'll quietly, almost magically, make your own brighter too. What if everything you've been told about happiness is backwards? What if the fulfillment you're looking for doesn't come from what you accumulate, but from what you contribute? We live in a world obsessed with consumption. More money, more followers, more likes, more success, more recognition. We're constantly taught that happiness comes from gathering more. But here's the twist. Fulfillment doesn't live at the end of consumption. It lives at the heart of contribution. Think about the people who seem the most alive, the most joyful, the most at peace with themselves. Are they the ones hoarding everything for themselves, or are they the ones giving freely, serving others, pouring into their families, their communities, and even strangers? There's a deep human truth hiding in plain sight. Giving feels better than getting. Contribution over consumption isn't just a philosophy. It's a strategy for living well. It's the difference between momentary pleasure and lasting joy. It's the bridge between success and significance. Consumption gives you a quick hit of dopamine. You buy something new, and for a moment you feel good. You hit a goal, and for a moment you feel important. But contribution delivers something deeper, something that sticks with you long after the applause fades or the novelty wears off. When you contribute, you connect to something larger than yourself. You become part of a bigger story. You step out of the shallow pool of self interest, and dive into the deeper waters of meaning. Have you ever volunteered your time, helped a stranger without expecting anything in return, or mentored someone who needed guidance? Think back. How did you feel afterwards? Tired, maybe, but also fulfilled in a way that no paycheck or new gadget could deliver. That feeling doesn't come from consumption. It comes from knowing you mattered, from seeing that your actions had a positive ripple effect in someone else's life. That's real fulfillment. That's the kind of joy that can't be bought, because it's earned through selflessness, through kindness, through service. When you shift your mindset from what can I get to what can I give, everything changes. Your relationships deepen, your sense of purpose sharpens, your inner critic quiets down because you're too busy lifting others to tear yourself apart. Contribution isn't about grand gestures, it's about showing up. Being present, giving your energy, your attention, your resources to make someone else's path a little easier. That's how communities are built. That's how trust is restored. That's how you start to feel that quiet, unshakable confidence that says, I matter because I make a difference. The irony is, the more you focus on contribution, the more you receive in return, not always in material ways, but in the things that actually count: respect, love, connection, peace, a deep sense of belonging. Contribution feeds your soul in a way consumption never can. Consumption is about feeding your ego. Contribution is about feeding your humanity. The people who leave the biggest impact in this world aren't remembered for what they took. They're remembered for what they gave. Have you ever wondered why, no matter how much you achieve, there's still a part of you that craves something deeper? Why is it that even when people reach the pinnacle of success, wealth, recognition, status, they still talk about connection, love, relationships, and community? It's because connection is not just important, it's essential. We're not built to live in isolation. We are wired from birth to connect, to belong, to be part of something bigger than ourselves. No matter how independent you believe you are, your deepest fulfillment will always be tied to the strength and quality of your relationships. There's a reason solitary confinement is considered one of the harshest punishments in prison. Without connection, even the strongest minds begin to fracture. This isn't weakness, it's biology. Our brains are designed to seek companionship. The smiles we share, the conversations we have, the empathy we give, these are not extras in life. They are fundamental to our well-being. People who live the longest, happiest lives are not the ones with the most money or fame. They are the ones with the strongest, most nurturing relationships. Science proves this over and over again. Connection lowers stress, strengthens immunity, and increases life satisfaction. When you make it your mission to create happiness for others, you're tapping directly into this core human need. Connection isn't just about having people around you. It's about meaningful bonds, authentic interactions, and shared experiences. It's about listening without judgment, caring without condition, and giving without expecting something in return. This level of connection transforms both you and the people around you. It builds trust. It creates a safe space for growth. It fosters resilience in difficult times and multiplies joy in the good times. Have you noticed how good it feels when someone really listens to you, not with one ear on their phone, but fully present? That feeling of being heard, of being understood, it's priceless. Now flip that experience. Imagine how much power you hold to make someone else feel that way. Imagine how much happiness you can generate simply by being present, by showing compassion, by offering encouragement. These small, consistent actions create connections that are stronger than steel. They create bonds that weather storms. They create loyalty, love, and a shared sense of purpose. Connection doesn't require grand gestures. It's built in the quiet moments: a kind word, a shared laugh, an open heart. It grows when you show up not just for the big celebrations, but for the ordinary days. It's about being the kind of person others can rely on, the one who remembers, who cares, who makes people feel like they matter. This is where real joy is found, in the spaces between people, in the invisible threads of kindness, compassion, and shared humanity. The irony is that in trying to make others happy through genuine connection, you fortify your own sense of happiness. You start to see yourself reflected in others. You recognize your role in their story and realize how interconnected we all are. You feel less alone, more alive, more grounded. Connection feeds the soul in a way that isolation never can. It is a mirror, a window, and a bridge all at once. Have you ever stopped to think about how much power lives in the smallest actions you take? People often underestimate just how far a simple gesture can reach. We're conditioned to believe that change has to be big, loud, and dramatic. We think we need grand stages, massive platforms, or vast resources to make an impact. But the truth is, small acts of kindness can create ripples that go farther than we could ever imagine. One smile, one kind word, one moment of patience. These things seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they shape lives, relationships, and even communities. Imagine this. You're having a rough day, your energy is low, your faith in people is even lower. Then, out of nowhere, a stranger holds the door open for you with a warm smile, or a friend sends you a message just to say they appreciate you. It's nothing earth-shattering, but somehow it shifts something inside of you. It reminds you that people care, that you matter, that kindness still exists in the world. Those tiny moments hold power not because they're loud, but because they're real. They interrupt negativity. They soften the edges of hard days. They plant seeds of hope where doubt might have been growing. The beauty of small acts is that they don't require perfection. You don't need to have your life completely together to brighten someone else's day. You don't need money, status, or special training to show kindness. All you need is intention, a moment of awareness where you choose to extend goodness outward. And the fascinating part is this. Often, when you give to others in small ways, it creates a boomerang effect. You start to feel better too. You realize you have agency, that you can create positivity even in a chaotic world. People are craving connection now more than ever, and it's these tiny acts that build bridges between us. Holding space for someone to speak their truth, offering a listening ear without judgment, sharing a genuine compliment. These things aren't trivial, they're foundational. They remind people of their worth. They remind you of your own humanity. They turn ordinary interactions into meaningful exchanges. Think about the ripple effect for a moment. One kind word can lift someone's mood. That lifted mood might lead them to treat the next person with more kindness. That person, in turn, carries that light forward. What starts as a small gesture travels far beyond what you can see. It's like dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread, touching distant shores long after the initial splash has faded from sight. Small actions also build trust and credibility over time. People remember consistency more than they remember grand gestures. They notice when you show up, when you care, when you go out of your way to make someone else's life just a little easier. These moments build a reputation, not just with others but within yourself. They remind you of the person you are committed to becoming, someone who makes a difference, no matter how small the opportunity seems. Have you ever noticed how incredible it feels when someone thanks you, not just casually but from the heart? When someone looks you in the eye and says, "You have no idea how much that meant to me," that feeling stays with you. It lingers longer than any paycheck, any trophy, any fleeting moment of recognition. It's because deep down we are wired to need purpose. We need to know we matter. We need to know that our existence makes a positive impact on the lives of others. And one of the fastest ways to strengthen your own sense of self-worth is to show up for people, to serve without expectation, to be the reason someone else's day is lighter. Helping others isn't just good for them, it's transformational for you. When you contribute to someone else's happiness, you send a powerful message to your own brain. I have value. I make a difference. I matter here. That message starts to overwrite the quiet insecurities we all carry. The doubts that say, "Am I enough? Am I doing anything that really counts?" Every act of service, every moment you lift someone up, reinforces a deeper sense of confidence and self-worth. Not the kind of confidence that comes from ego or comparison, but the kind that comes from knowing in your core that you have the power to create change. When you step outside of your own problems to help someone else, something incredible happens. Your perspective shifts, your energy shifts. You move from focusing on what's lacking in your life to recognizing the abundance you have to give. Gratitude grows, resilience strengthens. You stop viewing challenges as walls and start seeing them as opportunities to serve, to grow, to lead. Service grounds you. It reminds you of your humanity. It anchors you in something bigger than your fears, bigger than your struggles, bigger than your doubts. Consider this. How often do people say, "I just want to feel more confident," or "I wish I felt more secure in who I am"? They search for answers in books, podcasts, strategies, but often overlook one of the most accessible solutions: helping someone else. Confidence isn't built in isolation. It's built through action, through connection, through contribution. Every time you help, you gather evidence that you're capable, compassionate, and worthy of respect. That evidence piles up over time, creating an unshakable foundation beneath you. Acts of service don't have to be monumental to matter. Sometimes it's simply listening without interrupting, showing patience when others are losing theirs, offering encouragement when someone feels like giving up. These moments add up. They create a trail of impact that follows you, reminding you of the person you are and the strength you possess. People often think self-worth comes from accolades or external validation, but the truth is, it grows quietly through the moments where you choose to give, where you choose kindness, where you choose to make someone else's load a little lighter, knowing full well that you've made a lasting imprint on the world around you. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to carry a quiet, unshakable joy no matter what's going on in their lives? It's not because their lives are free of problems or challenges. It's because they understand something most people overlook. Happiness is not a straight line, it's a circle. What you give out always finds a way back to you. When you lift others, you are indirectly lifting yourself. When you make someone else's burden a little lighter, yours somehow feels lighter too. The energy you put into the world doesn't just vanish. It circles back, often when you need it most. Think about the people who walk into a room and instantly brighten it. They don't do it by demanding attention. They do it by giving attention through a kind word, a smile, genuine interest in others. These people understand something powerful. Energy is contagious. Positivity spreads, and so does negativity. When you choose to make others feel better, more seen, more appreciated, you're creating a ripple that expands far beyond that one moment. Eventually, those ripples return in ways you couldn't predict. A helping hand when you're struggling, a compliment when you're doubting yourself, an opportunity when you least expect it. It's easy to forget how interconnected we all are. Every interaction, you have set something in motion. Every word you speak, every gesture you make, either adds to the collective well-being or takes from it. When you make it your habit to give happiness freely through kindness, through patience, through simple acts of generosity, you become part of something bigger than yourself. You become a link in the chain of positivity that makes this world a little brighter for everyone, including yourself. Consider how happiness operates in your own life. Think of the last time someone did something unexpectedly kind for you. It might have been small, a compliment, a favor, a moment of understanding. Did it lift your spirits? Did it make your day a little easier? Now think about how you felt towards that person afterward. Grateful, more connected, more likely to want to pass that good energy along to someone else. This is how happiness travels. It doesn't stop with the person who receives it. It keeps moving, growing, multiplying. One of the reasons giving happiness away creates more happiness within you is because it pulls you out of your own head. It breaks the cycle of self-focus, worry, and doubt. It reminds you that you're capable of impact. It shows you that even on your worst days, you have something of value to offer. That realization builds resilience. It fortifies your spirit. It gives you a sense of purpose beyond your personal challenges or temporary emotions. The people who understand this life differently. They don't wait for happiness to find them. They create it for others and trust the circle will eventually bring it back to them. This isn't philosophy, it's practice. It's daily actions, daily choices, daily moments where you choose to give even when you're not sure what's coming in return. And the beauty of it is, you rarely have to wait long before life circles back around with a reminder of just how much your kindness mattered.